I'm They just got in from the school in Manchester. And Jagannath is demanding an arti. He says, "Hey, where's my dupe? Where's my pushpa?" Hare Krishna.
Hi, Prabhu.
All right, here we are. Oh, what a day. Whew. A lot of driving. Okay, so let's start the prayer. We're back on the Uddhava visits Vrindavan. Did everyone enjoy the Shivaratri program last week?
Yeah.
Was it a cracking story? Action, adventure. Vasudev Krishna, very, very great adventure story with Vasudev Krishna's Vasudev form. Very exciting. Okay, let's start then. Krishna, 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 hey. Go ahead, Jai.
Krishna, 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 hey.
Shamarani.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama.
All right. Now it's Pahimam. Pahimam, Alex.
Krishna, 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 Pahimam.
Ramesh, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Ramesh Bhai, bolo je.
Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshama.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone together last time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So, what is the longest kirtan you've been in, Jai Prakash? What's the longest kirtan you can remember you've been in?
Once at Radhadesh, about 3 hours with Madhava Prabhu.
No, I mean the nritya, proper kirtan, not this sitting down business. No.
Okay.
I'm kirtan. Nritya kirtan. Kirtan means nritya.
Probably at Crowley Rath Yatra.
What, about 3 hours?
Probably about an hour and a bit.
Hour and a bit. Alex, your longest nritya kirtan?
If I understand that, it was all night for Hanuman in India, but I was only 8 years old and I still remember it.
Wow, that's nice. What a memory.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Shamarani, your longest nritya kirtan?
I think I will remember that when we had a volunteers dinner in Soho Temple.
Yeah.
And that's the whole evening kirtan we have to the very famous hall. Which one was it? The Prabhupada gave his lecture, the biggest audience he had.
Right.
The whole in there, that was the longest kirtan.
Nice. How about Jigna? Longest kirtan you can remember? I mean, not this sitting down. I mean, sitting down is okay, but A kirtan means that you dance, you know. Never trust a holy man that doesn't dance. Never trust a holy man that can't dance. There's something wrong. There's something very wrong if someone is not dancing. Something's not right there.
I don't think I have been to one.
What? You've never been to a arti?
Yeah. So nothing longer than that.
Ramesh Bhai, longest kirtan che. Lambi.
I've been just recently. I just been recently on a Bhakti Mandir, 24 hours dhun. Hare Krishna.
24-hour do, but nritya.
No, nurtya, only kirtan.
Only it's like a bhajan. That's like a bhajan sort of thing.
Yeah, it's
Sitting
24 hours.
down is bhajan really. It's okay. It's nice, but Prabhupada didn't encourage this. It was okay to sit down and sing a bhajan, maybe little bhajan, but this sitting down for hours, Prabhupada never advocated this. So I don't mind it. It's okay. But the real business is nritya. Okay? So my longest kirtan, I can remember it was Nityananda's appearance day, 1982. I think 82 or 83. We had the arti at 7 p.m. for Nityananda's appearance day. And we went on then for 1 hour. Kirtan went on. 1 hour dancing, 2 hours dancing, 3 hours dancing, 4 hours dancing. 11 o'clock we were there and we went berserk. And nobody could sleep in the temple at Bhaktivedanta Manor. So I think we went on. It was not human. It was some kind of spell came over us and we continued. And the dancing was extraordinary. And it was led by a devotee called Udayananda Das. And until you've seen Udayananda dancing, you haven't seen anyone dancing in a kirtan. Udayananda was an extraordinary dancer in kirtan. He had so much emotions and feeling and expressions. It was a sight to behold. So we went on, and then I remember at one point it happened to be on a Sunday night as well. So we continued on, and people had donated atta, you see, elephant atta, and different atta was piled up in the hallway at Bhaktivedanta Manor where people had brought the atta in. And I remember we were dancing in the hallway because they closed the temple room, you see, at 10 o'clock. But we were still dancing like a fever. We had Sunday night fever. And somebody had hit one of the atta's bags and they opened it. And there was atta everywhere. And we were all covered in flour. Then one devotee went upstairs and there was somebody sleeping in the one of the offices. He was the treasurer. This is all true. I'm just describing to you what a kirtan is. And kirtan means pramada. It means his madness is there, some madness. Premon Mada. It's called Premon Mada. So this devotee was sleeping in the Gokulananda Prabhu. He was the treasurer. So he was taking rest in the treasury upstairs at the manor. The office, the first office, which is now, I think it's the public relations office now. So he was sleeping there in a sleeping bag, and somebody went we were upstairs, and somebody went into the room, and he was there, and they tipped the atta. They had bag of atta, and they tipped it over over him in his sleeping bag, because we all went crazy. And then he came running downstairs with his head was completely white, with red eyes. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're mad. And we were all chanting and we were looking at him covered in atta. It was the funniest sight I've ever seen. So that was the kirtan. It went on till about nearly 12 o'clock. So that was a good nearly 5-hour kirtan. So to give you an idea what a kirtan is that okay? I'm not saying we're going to come to, we're not coming to Mitcham with a bag of elephant atta, don't worry. And you see next week, you see Shamarani with grey hair. Elephant atta there. Oh, dear me. So I thought I'd share that with you. I don't know why it came up today, but it's a very happy memory that was. So let's start now. We're on chapter 47, and it's delivery of the message of Krishna to the gopis by Uddhava. Go ahead, Jai Prakash Prabhu.
Thank you. Delivery of the message of Krishna to the gopis. When the gopis saw Uddhava, they observed that his features almost exactly resembled those of Krishna. And they could understand that he was a great devotee of Krishna. His arms were very long, his eyes were just like the petals of the lotus flower. He was dressed up in yellow garments and wore a garland of lotus flowers. His face was very beautiful, having achieved the liberation of Sarupya, and thus having the same bodily features of the Lord. Uddhava looked almost like Krishna. In Krishna's absence, the gopis had been coming dutifully to visit Mother Yashoda's house early in the morning. They knew that Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda were always grief-stricken, and they had made it their first duty to come and pay their respects to the most exalted or elder personalities of Vrindavan. Seeing the friends of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda would remember Krishna himself and be satisfied. And the gopis also would be pleased by seeing Nanda and Yashoda.
Oh, lovely. So there's a nice introduction there. And on this point here, just to freshen everyone up by their memory, there's a mention here of Sarupya Mukti. I've mentioned it before. There's Panchavida Mukti. One of them is Sarupya. Can anyone remember any of the other four muktis?
Sayuja,
Saloka Mukti,
Sarupya, and Samipya.
Samipya, and
that's all I remember.
Sarshti.
Sarshti. Okay.
Sarshti Mukti means having the same opulences as the Lord. Okay? Sarshti Mukti. Now, so many people think Sarupya or Salokya means like Sarupya, you get the same form as Narayan. Because in Narayan, in the Haridham, up there in Vaikuntha Dham, there all the residents, they have Sarupya, Salokya, and Sarupya Mukti, and Sarshti, and they have very similar forms as Narayan. The example is Jai and Vijay. Jai and Vijay, you'll see them at the guards there, the chokidars of many of our ISKCON temples in India. In Delhi, for example, you go into the temple, Jai Vijay are outside. You see? So this is Sarupya. So most people think this is what we mean by Sarupya. You get the form of Narayan, Chaturabhuj, forearm form in Vaikuntha. And the lady, female form is like Lakshmi's. So it's a very beautiful form. very satisfying that you have the same features as God. But here we have a Sarupya Mukti of Uddhava. Uddhava, he had very similar features to the Lord. Very, very similar. Almost the same. Who can tell me somebody else who's got a similar Mukti to Uddhava? I'll give you a clue. It begins with P. Don't say Prabhupada. Alex, any ideas?
Sorry, Prabhu.
No?
No idea at all.
Okay, so Lord Krishna's son, Pradyumna, if you saw Pradyumna on the battlefield on his chariot, you'd swear it was Krishna. He looked so much like Krishna. In fact, he was mistaken for Krishna many times. So Pradyumna, Krishna's son, and many of Krishna's sons were a chip off the old block, as they say. Very similar looking. And also Arjuna. Arjuna was also very similar to Krishna. Very similar to Krishna in his features. But he had a mustache. He had the mustache, Arjuna. He was Kshatriya. There's one form of Krishna in Chennai, Parthasarathi Mandir, is a very, very big, I think around 15-foot tall deity of Arjuna and Krishna. And on those deities, they're, I don't know how many thousands of years old, but if you go to Chennai, you must go to the Parthasarathi Mandir. And there, Krishna has a mustache as well. Just to show that if God wants to, he can grow a mustache, if he wants to. Okay, so that's a little something about Sarupya Mukti. Okay, let's carry on then. Alex, if you can carry on. When the gopis saw.
When the gopis saw that Uddhava was representing Krishna even in his bodily features, they were thought he must be a soul of completely surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They began to contemplate, who is this boy who looks just like Krishna? He has the same eyes like lotus petals, the same raised nose and beautiful face, and he is smiling in the same way. In all respects, he resembles Krishna. Shama Sundra, the beautiful blackish boy. He is even dressed exactly like Krishna. Where has this boy come from? Who is this? Who is the fortunate girl who has him for her husband? Thus they talked among themselves. They were very anxious to know about him, and because they were simple, unsophisticated village girls, they surrounded Uddhava. Should I carry on, Prabhu?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Shamarani, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. When the gopis understood that Uddhava had a message from Krishna, they became very happy and called him to a secluded place to sit down. They wanted to talk with him very freely and did not want to be embarrassed before unknown persons. They began to welcome him with polite words in great submissiveness. We know that you are a most confidential associate of Krishna and that he has therefore sent you to Vrindavan to give solace to his father and mother. We can understand that family affection is very strong. Even great sages who have taken to the renounced order of life cannot give up family members. Krishna has therefore sent you to his father and mother. Otherwise, he has no further business in Vrindavan. He is now in town. What does he have to know about Vrindavan village or the cows' pasturing grounds? These are not at all useful for Krishna because he is now a man in the city.
Yes, Yes, he's a city man now, you see. They know that Krishna has changed his tune. He's changed from a flute, from the Bamsi, and now he's playing on his saranga, on his bow. You see, he's twanging the bow, which is Krishna's bow is called saranga. And what is the name of Arjuna's bow? Ramesh Bhai, Arjuna Danur Asuche.
Gandev?
Gandiva. Yes, Abar,
Yeah,
Abar Bhai.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gandiva is Arjuna. He is twanging the Gandiva. Krishna is twanging the Sharanga, or sometimes it's called Sharanga. There was one Vaishnava, one sannyasi called Bhakti Sharanga Swami. Beautiful name, Bhakti Sharanga Swami. Okay. Ramesh Bhai, can you read the next part? Surely he has nothing to do.
It's on mute.
Oh, he's on mute. Okay.
If you just
Sorry.
listen.
Hello, I can read now.
Thank you.
Surely he has nothing to do with person who do not happen to be his family member. Friendship with those outside the family continue as long as there is some selfish interest in them. Otherwise, why should one bother about those outside the family? Specifically, a person attached to the views of others is interested in them as long as there is need of sense gratification. Just as bumblebee has interested in flower as long as they want to take the honey out of them. It is physiologically very natural that is a prostitute does not care for her paramour as soon as he loses his money. Similarly, when the citizens find that a government is incapable of giving them full protection, they leave the country. A student, after finishing his education, give up his relationship with the teacher and the school. A priest, after taking his reward from the worshipper, give him up when the fruit season is over. Birds are no longer interested in the tree. Just after eating in the house of a host, the guest give up his relationship with him. After a forest fire, when there is a scarcity of green grass, deer, other animals give up the forest. And so a man, after enjoying his girlfriend, give up his connection with her. In this way, all the gopi indirectly excused Krishna by citing many examples.
Okay. No, this is fine. This paragraph, this is this is a little bit of a paragraph where the gopis are telling, giving examples to Uddhava that this Krishna, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. Will you love me tomorrow? No. Krishna, do you love me today? Yes. Will you love me tomorrow? No. This is how the gopis felt towards Krishna. You know this song? Will you love me tomorrow? It's a 1950 song. Very true. This is all very true. This is all these things are true. We're very attached. For the priest will go do the puja. He'll stay then and wait very humbly and be very nice until he gets his dakshina. You see, as soon as the dakshina, you look at his watch. Before then, he's just waiting patiently. As soon as the dakshina is paid, well, I have to go now. I have a pressing business. Because his motive is to get the money. This is Purohit. We call it Purohit Brahmin. Their business, they do the puja. Their business is, they are expert in puja, and they live a pious life. But their motive is very much on the money. Whilst Vaishnav Brahmin, he won't make the money a priority. He'll always say that, listen, you can pay me or not, it's up to you, and you can pay me what you like. Now, most Brahmins, they got a list, wedding, this much. I'm sure you've all experienced it at certain times. Chudakarana, haircutting ceremony, this is the price. Griha Pravesha, this is the price. This Homa, you have to pay, £100, 200, 500 pounds. It's always a lot of money. Okay, but the Vaishnav Brahmin, he says, no, it cost me this much to come here. It's coming to Crawley. It's cost me £20, £20 to come to Crawley from London. So give me the £20, and if you're happy, you can give me something on top, whatever you like. This is Vaishnava Brahmin. You see the difference? Because the motive is preaching. The motive is preaching is not how to squeeze like a toothpaste. When you come to the end of the toothpaste, you turn it to squeeze the last bit of toothpaste out. Who's done that? Oh, God, I thought it was only me then. Jigna, have you been at it? Are you a toothpaste squeezer?
Yes.
Okay. So generally our mentality is like this. Want to get your money's worth, you see? Got to get your money's worth. But the Vaishnav is meant to be completely detached from the results of the work, and he hands it to Krishna, and then that's the way it's done. That's the way. I can tell you this because this is the way I do it. It's no good me telling you that, and then I'm thinking, oh, how much money am I going to get out of Alex now? Oh, let's squeeze Alex like that toothpaste.
You come over. I'll sort your flight over, and everything on top will be fine. I'll make sure we get a Ahimsa milk and sort you out.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll fly over myself for that Ahimsa milk. So this different mentality, but Krishna, they're thinking, Krishna, he's had a great time with us in Vrindavan, and now he's left, and now he's a city man. So they're feeling a little bit let down by Krishna. So they're hoping that Uddhava is going to pacify their feelings of disappointment, separation, disappointment, sadness, and fear. All kinds of feelings are there. So go ahead, Jigna. Uddhava understood.
Uddhava understood that the gopis of Vrindavan were all simply absorbed in the thought of Krishna and his childhood activities. While talking about Krishna with Uddhava, they forgot all about their household business. They even forgot about themselves as their interest in Krishna increased more and more. One of the gopis, namely Srimati Radharani, was so much absorbed in thoughts of Krishna by dint of her personal touch with him that she actually began to talk with a bumblebee, which was flying there and trying to touch her lotus feet. While the other gopis were talking with Krishna's messenger Uddhava, Srimati Radharani took that bumblebee to be a messenger from Krishna and began to talk with it as follows. Bumblebee, you are accustomed to drinking honey from flower to flower, and therefore you have preferred to be a messenger of Krishna, who is of the same nature as you. I can see on your moustaches the red powder of kumkuma, which was smeared on the flower garland of Krishna, while it was pressed against the breast of some other girl who is my competitor. You feel very proud because of having touched that garland, and your moustaches have become reddish. You have come here carrying a message for me, anxious to touch my feet. But my dear Bumblebee, let me warn you, don't touch me. I don't want any messages from your unreliable master. You are the unreliable servant of an unreliable master.
Very famous statement by Radharani. You are the unreliable servant of an unreliable master. So Krishna, he's famous for being unreliable. Just imagine, God is famous for being unreliable and often late as well, but never unfair. Krishna may be late, he may be a bit unreliable, but he's never unfair. He may keep us waiting to the very, very brink of disaster, and then he'll save us right at the very end. You see, but that's Krishna's way. That is the way of bhakti. Bhakti must be tested. So here Krishna is testing the gopis. What he's doing here, under the guise of leaving Vrindavan and the whole scenario of the anger and resentment of Radharani speaking to a bumblebee, and Krishna, he's after some other girl now. He's finished with us. He's like a bumblebee going from flower to flower. Under this whole thing of this resentment is Krishna. What he's doing, he's purifying the devotion, purifying their love, making it more intense, more pure, just like fire. Fire will take out all the impurities in things, just like when we heat water. We all know we put water on the pan or in the kettle, and all the bacteria, all the things in there, they are destroyed. So the heat, when Krishna puts us through the tests, that is meant, it's only Krishna helping us to intensify and purify our devotion and purify our consciousness when we are punished by the Lord. And the Lord favors someone, especially when he favors someone, when he gives us anugrinami, it's called in Sanskrit. When he favors someone, then he may take things away from them. He may give them some tragedies, disasters, turmoils. What do they call them? When things go wrong, when things really happen, go wrong. What's the name of it?
Catastrophe.
Catastrophes. Catastrophe. Krishna may create catastrophes for his devotees, put them through a lot of misery, but within that suffering, within that, punishment, you could say, externally seems like a punishment, the devotees becoming qualified to meet the Lord and to live with him forever. So within that apparent discretion of Krishna, there's actually the highest welfare of the Lord is there. So that's a little point on that. So let's ask Jai Prakash if we can say now, it may be that Srimati Radharani.
It may be that Srimati Radharani purposely addressed the bumblebee sarcastically in order to indirectly criticize the messenger. Uddhava. Like the other gopis, Srimati Radharani saw that Uddhava's body features resemble Krishna, but she also saw Uddhava as being equal to Krishna. Indirectly, therefore, she indicated that Uddhava was as unreliable as Krishna himself. Srimati Radharani wanted to give specific reasons why she was dissatisfied with Krishna and his messenger. May we continue?
Yes, Shamarani, go ahead.
She addressed the bumblebees. Your master Krishna is exactly of your quality. You sit down on a flower, and after taking a little honey, you immediately fly away and sit in another flower and taste. You are just like your master Krishna. He gave me only once the chance to taste the touch of his lips, and then he left us all together. I know also that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, who is always in the midst of the lotus flower, is constantly engaged in Krishna's service, but I do not know how she has become so captivated by Krishna and why she is so much attached to Krishna, although she knows his actual character. As far as we are concerned, we are more intelligent than that goddess of fortune. We are not going to be cheated anymore by Krishna or his messengers.
Yeah, they were feeling very cheated, just like in this world. You have the, what do they call the playboys? You know, they go around, they play the field with ladies, and they have, you know, they just go from one to another, and they break hearts. And Krishna is a big heartbreaker. Did you know that? Did you know that Krishna is a big heartbreaker? Because where does this all come from? You see, in this world, the heartbreakers, women as well, they break the hearts of men too. It's not just one way. And the heartbreaker, the concept of the heartbreaker, it has to be in God as well. This is explained in the Vedanta Sutra. Let's all say it together. Janmad.
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 Yasya.
Yes.
Yataha.
Yataha.
Okay, this is Janmad Yasya Yataha. This is the first sutra of the Vedanta Sutra. Janmad Yasya Yataha. The second sutra, excuse me, it's the second sutra. The first sutra is Om Atato Brahma Jignasa. Then the first sutra is that, and then the second sutra is Janmad Yasya Yataha. I'll show you now. Just a moment. Let's go here. This is my shloka. This is my shloka lessons I do, where I explain all the different aspects of shlokas. Here we are. The first sutta is Om. Can we say it together? Om.
Om.
Atato.
Atado
Brahma.
Brahma
Jignasa.
Jignasa.
Yes. Om Atato Brahma Jignasa.
Om Athato Brahma Jignasa.
Ata means now. Now is the time to inquire, jignasa, into Brahma, into what is Brahman. Brahman means Atma. Atma is Brahman. And there's Para Brahman. Then there's different aspects of Brahman called Shiva Shakti, Shiv Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, or the Jiva Tattva. There are different Tattvas and Shaktis within Brahman. So this is the first thing. Second one, Om.
Om.
Janmadyasya.
Janmadyasya.
Yataha.
Yataha.
Brahman is that from which or from whom everything emanates. Yasya prabhava prabhato jagadanda kotim kotish vishesha vasudhadi vibhuti bhinam. This is Brahma Samhita. I thought I'd just share that with you. Slight diversion there.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay, so the point is with this whole thing is that Krishna, you see, he's a heartbreaker. He'll break our hearts. And when he breaks our heart, but when someone breaks our heart in this world, you see, someone lets us down, or like if you hear on the radio, you hear, you know, when I grew up as a kid on the radio in the 60s, there were so many songs about breaking up, about being let down. Will you love me tomorrow? No. Why did you leave me? So many songs. Because this is the business in this world. And when that happens from a jiva, when another jiva lets another jiva tattva down, one living entity plays the part of Krishna as a heartbreaker, it's very, very painful. There's no recompense for that. It's just a lot of pain. When Krishna breaks the heart, one feels so much more attached to Krishna that one experiences what we call Krishna consciousness. Haribol! Krishna consciousness is also called Krishna Bhavanamritam. Can we say that one together? Krishna Bhavanamritam.
Bhavanamritam.
Yes, bhava means our inner self, our inner consciousness, our nature, the nature that we have, the natural nature is Krishna bhava. We are Krishna conscious. So that Krishna consciousness comes out, and even when he's brokenhearted and suffering, one is experiencing ecstasy at the same time. One is like when you get a shiver, if you get fever, sometimes you get heat, you're sweating, but you're cold. Who's experienced that they got a sweat, you're delirious. Oh, I'm not well, I'm sweating, but then at the same time you're shivering. Who's experienced that? Yes, you get it with malaria. I strongly advise a dose of malaria to experience this. Alex, dose of malaria, that will... Now, when you're shivering and you're hot at the same time, even though it's unpleasant, there's some kind of happiness. You feel some kind of pleasure there as well. It's a very unusual thing. You're shivering, yet you're hot. Have you experienced this, anyone? So similarly, in the spiritual life, there's this contradiction of mellows, rasas. They call rasas. And sometimes they clash against each other, and one's experiencing pain, sorrow, and happiness at the same time. Okay, this was exemplified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Gambhira, where he was experiencing such intense love for Krishna and separation that he was experiencing pain and great pleasure simultaneously. Okay? On the spiritual platform. I'm sure you'll read the Chaitanya Charitamrita and you'll read this Leela of the Gambhira in the Antya Leela, the extraordinary contradicting emotions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, right, next one. Alex, go for the next part, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. According to great opinion, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is a subordinate expansion of Srimati Radharani. As Krishna has numerous expansions of Vishnu Murtis, so So his pleasure potency, Radharani, also has innumerable expansions of goddesses of fortune. Therefore, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, is always eager to be elevated to the position of the gopis.
Yes, there we are. Look, this is Lakshmi. She is Sahasra, Chintamani, Pakarasad Mashu Kalpaviksha, Lakshmi Sahasra, Sata Sambrahma Sevamanam. So, the gopis are the origin of the Lakshmis. So sometimes gopis are called Lakshmi. Sometimes you have a girl is born in the family and they say, oh, you have a little Lakshmi. You see, little Lakshmi is born. So the gopis are actually the origin of the Lakshmi. Lakshmi is subordinate to Srimati Radharani. Therefore, when we worship Radharani, we are automatically doing Mahalakshmi Puja, you see. On Diwali day, everyone is doing businesses. They're all doing Mahalakshmi Puja, Satyanarayan Pujas, etc. But just by worshipping Radha Krishna, you're worshipping Mahalakshmi. Okay? Next one, Jigna, go ahead.
As Srimati Radharani continued, "You foolish bumblebee, you are trying to satisfy me and get a reward by singing the glories of Krishna, but it is a useless attempt. We gopis are bereft of all our possessions. We are away from our homes and families. We know very well about Krishna. We know even more than you, so whatever you make up about him will be old stories to us. Krishna is now in the city and is better known as the friend of Arjuna. He now has many girlfriends who are no doubt very happy in his association, because the lusty, burning sensation of their breasts has been satisfied by Krishna, they are now happy. If you go there and glorify Krishna, they may be pleased to reward you. You are just trying to pacify me by your behavior as a flatterer, and therefore you have put your head under my feet. But I know the trick you are trying to play. I know that you are a messenger coming from an even greater trickster, Krishna. Therefore, please leave me."
There we are now. Look, this poor old bumblebee, the poor bumblebee's innocently there, doesn't got a clue what's going on. He's getting the mercy of Radharani. Just imagine you're a bumblebee now in Vrindavan. Okay? Ramesh Bhai, bumblebee che. Okay? Taigyao che. Bumblebee taigyao che. Okay? You're there. Bzzz, and then Srimati Radharani comes and gives you a blasting.
Okay.
How nice is that? Who would like to be blasted by Radharani personally? Seeing Radharani's bumblebee eyes going round. Whoa, that Krishna! He's a trickster. He's a cheater. He's a heartbreaker. He's this, he's that. So people think of God. They think, oh, God must be very boring, you see, to be God. You're sitting up there on the cloud. You're just sending people to hell, some people to heaven, and then you're like like the judge, They see God as a judge. But Krishna, he's not the judge. He doesn't play that part. Who's the judge? Who plays the part of the judge in this Jagat Samsar? Conche, the judge.
Yamaraj?
Yamaraj, yes. Yamaraj is playing the part of the judge. And he has different forms as well. That's explained in the Varaha Purana. Yamaraj has a very fearful form with a mukut with horns and trishul and a heavy danda stick. And he has another form for the Pitrilok and if you go there as a guest, not for punishment, but if you're visiting as a beautiful Pitrilok planet, then you are entering the front door, and Yamaraj says a very handsome, beautiful demigod So Krishna is not the judge. He's not that. That's not his forte. Krishna is a prankster, a trickster, a cheater, a heartbreaker. Any other names you can think of him? Come on, Jai. I'm sure you can think of a few names.
Markanchor.
He's a Markanchor. He's a tax evader. Come on. Shamarani. Jigna.
Unreliable.
What can you think of?
Unreliable.
He's very unreliable. Alex? He's a lumpat. He's a lumpat. He's a lumpat wala. Lumpat means he's going from one girl to the next girl. He's a debaucher, spoiling all the girls. So Krishna, this is God. Now, if we tell people on the news at 10 tonight, the latest news, God is a debaucher, a cheater, a heartbreaker, what was that one you said, Jigna?
Unreliable.
He's very unreliable. He's a trickster. You see, but this knowledge of God, this knowledge of Bhagwan can only be known to his bhaktas. They can only understand. Only his bhaktas, Krishna gives his bhaktas the intelligence to understand his nature, which is absolute. You know, his unreliability is his actual reliability. Krishna is reliably unreliable. Krishna is, he can cheat the greatest cheater. He can cheat the greatest cheater. And when one is cheated by Krishna, one simply loves Krishna more. Oh, Krishna, you have cheated me. You have won, Krishna. And of course, you should win. You are Bhagavan. So because of his unique position as Purusha, all these dualities, they're reconciled in the absolute nature of the Lord. So that's why we worship Krishna, even though his behavior is materially, if Krishna wasn't God, well, I tell you what, Yamaraj would be after him. You see, if Krishna, but because he is God, Bhagwan, Yamaraj is worshipping Krishna. So,
Prabhu, quick question. So it's us who is kind of putting these material aspects onto Krishna, right? It's our kind of illusion that is causing these things to be thought of, that he is a Markanchor or unreliable. But
oh no, he's definitely unreliable. And he's definitely a Markanchor, and he's a Chittachor, and he's a Vastachor, and he's a eels. You know, the thing is, you see, all these qualities originally are spiritual. Because we are imitating, we are trying to imitate the Lord. We are trying to take that position of imitating. Therefore, because we fail, materially, we will fail. We will be punished for these things. Therefore, we think they're bad. Understand? We think they're bad because when we have a go at it, it backfires, you see, in the face.
So we're poor copiers or imitators, right?
Yeah. But when Krishna, when the Purusha acts in any way, it's perfect because that is his position. When we take on his leelas and make movies and songs and all these things, then it looks bad then, you see, because we're not qualified for that. There's a statement in the Shastra that one should never imitate a great and powerful personality. One should never try to imitate. If you imitate a great personality like Lord Shiva Oh, Lord Shiva, he drank the poison. Oh, I'll drink the poison. Duh. Duh. Hello. You know,
Does-
Krishna can drink, Shiva can drink the poison and become Nilkanta. And when we drink the poison, we're dead. You see? So these people, they worship Shiva, they smoke bhang. They're smoking bhang. You see them, all the Shiva Babas, smoking bhang. You know, like this, you see, on their chillams. Okay, so Prabhupada says if they want to smoke the bhang, they also have to drink the poison. Why you only, Shiva Bhagawan, he does smokes the bhang, or he takes the bhang. Yes, but why don't you take the poison then? Because they're cheaters, and because they're imitating the original cheater, they will be punished by Yamaraj. This is the game.
So our love for Krishna is being transformed in a way to kind of material love as well, right? Because it's
No, there's no such thing as material love. There's no material love. Material love doesn't exist.
okay.
It doesn't exist. There's a kind of imitation love in this world. That's material, but it's like, do you love me? Yes, I love you. What about tomorrow? Oh, no, not tomorrow. I love you today, but not tomorrow. What kind of love is that? And this is the love of this world. This is the kind of love we have. It changes. You see, the quality changes with the gunas. Tamagun. Today I have Sattva gun love for you, Sattva gun. But tomorrow, because I am a jiva, I will come under the Tamagun. My love becomes tamasic. It becomes perverted.
Yeah.
You see, today I love you perfectly. Tomorrow I'm becoming perverted and I want to exploit you. You see, understand? Because we are under the kasha of the gunas. Krishna, he's above the gunas. Therefore, all his activities, they're perfect. Even his so-called bad activities, they're perfect. But for us to do it, but our problem is we impose our nature onto Krishna. You see, we think, oh, Krishna, he's like this. I'm like this. He's like this. You see, no, this is Krishna consciousness, understanding Krishna, understanding God in great details. So we'll stop at this point. What was the last part of the purport of the paragraph?
I can understand that you're expert in reuniting two opposing parties. That's where we'll start next week.
Oh, okay. So we got the line, and we'll stop at this point. And well, that was a very interesting read and interesting points. Any questions? Any comments or anything you want to say?
I just want to just pick up the last bit from what you were having talk with Alex. So is that Krishna's doing all these activities and all these naughty things? I think, is that just to teach us, isn't it? Or it's kind of...
Oh, no. He enjoys doing this. It's not just for teaching. He teaches, this teaching business is by the way. It's a secondary principle. He does these things because he enjoys. He enjoys, just like we enjoy playing jokes. Don't you play jokes on people sometimes?
Yeah.
Don't you play a prank? We enjoy playing a prank. Look at Jai Prakash. Jai Prakash is playing pranks on all his customers. You see, he's an accountant. He phoned him up. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a serious problem with the tax office. What? April Fool. You see, so Krishna's first business is it's not that he's doing this for any ulterior purpose.
Okay.
Krishna God acts simply out of pleasure, simply for the sake of enjoying. Simply, There's no suffering in God. You know, once Prabhupada asked the devotee, please, Jadurani, please paint a picture of Krishna with a headache. Because one day he had a headache. Gopis, he asked them for their dust. So Jadurani she drew this picture of Krishna with a headache. And Krishna looked really, really like he was going to hospital or something. So Prabhupada said, no, Krishna's not like this. Even he has a headache, he still looks happy. He still looks like he's enjoying, even with a headache, you see, because there's no suffering in him.
So his motivations and his are not the same as what we can understand as human beings, right? So when he does these things, he does these, but we can't comprehend because of the fact that we can't be.
Yeah, the reason we can't comprehend it is that we don't want to.
Okay.
The answer is so simple, is accept Krishna as he is. Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita.
As it is.
As it is.
Okay, so we have to accept Krishna as he is.
Okay,
The principle is we're not going to accept Krishna as we want him to be. This is our problem. You get married, you have a husband or wife. All right, now I want you to be like the way I want you to be. End of marriage. It's all over. Bye. Nice to have met you. Cheerio. Aujo. Okay. See, our problem is we want others to be the way we want, rather than let them be the way they are and work with it, you see. So with Krishna, we accept Krishna the way he is, and he's a real character. No, God, you see, for the Christians and the Muslim and the people in general, even the Jews and even for Hindus as well, God is some kind of, either he's Brahman, he has no form, he's Nirakar, which is extremely boring. Having no form, just being there, a light. I've been to the Brahma Kumaris meetings, and I've sat down with them and looked at this light, this little pink light, for like 1 hour. Gazing at the light, I think, bloody hell, this is boring. Oh my God, how can, and they're like this. I'm in bliss. I thought, I can think of another word for that one. It's not bliss. So basically, God is either, or he's an old fella, or he's indescribable. You can't give any description. What's this? What's this? No, God comes and says, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is the way I act. And love me for it, or if you want, you can criticize me because you're trying to drag me to your level. You see, what we try to do is drag. We like to drag people down to our level. We don't think, let me come up to your level. You meet someone higher, better than you. You think, oh, let me drag you to my level. No, let's come to your level. In that, there's love. The love is there when we want to come up to the level, not drag them down, drag you down to my level. It's very miserly consciousness. So in material world, we are Kanjusi people in this world. We want to drag people down to our level, or even a little bit lower than us, put the foot on their head so that we are a bit higher than them, you see. This is our business. So there you go. That's the answer. Any other points? Oh, that's not the answer. That's my answer, not the answer. Yeah, the answer is much greater than that. This is what I had to say. Anything else before we finish? Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We will be coming to. We'll be coming to Crawley very soon.
You're welcome anytime.
Be prepared.
Always. Doors are open.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. See you soon. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Close to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Okay.